You guys, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. I am so excited to be talking about the Kosas 10-second eyeshadows today. This has been requested ever since they came out, so I'm very excited to share my thoughts with you, do a little demo, show you how they apply, all of that good stuff. I want to say congratulations to the winner of my Honest Beauty giveaway. The winner will be chosen today, so make sure to check your DMs, and I promise I will have another giveaway coming up soon, potentially next week, so be ready for that. But let's start talking about these eyeshadows because there's something definitely new to the clean beauty world. Kosas is a brand that I really enjoy. You guys have seen other videos that I've done on their products. Huge fan of their blushes, huge fan of their tinted face oil. I wear that a lot. And of course, their lipsticks have been in my favorites videos over and over again. They're just a really wonderful formula. So I was very excited to see when these came out. They sort of had this Glossier vibe going on where it's very much like enhancing your natural beauty but not covering too much, and then just having fun with makeup. So the colors that they came out with, they had 8 shades, and I am lucky enough to have received 3 of them to give a try. So let's talk really quickly a little bit of an overview about the product. We'll talk about price, packaging, all that good stuff, and then I'll do a little review and I'll show you guys the shades that I got and how they applied and which ones are my favorite. So each shade actually comes in the classic black and white Kosas cardboard box. Their packaging has always been very chic, very minimal. It does include all of the ingredients. You'll see that there's an 18-month expiration date on these, so it's recommended to use within that time frame. On the very top, it actually says the shade name. And then these retail for $28 for 0.02 fluid ounces. If you buy 2, you'll save $6. If you buy 3, you'll save $14 on the Kosas website. So that's something to just be aware of. Now, when you actually take out the eyeshadow itself, it looks a lot like a lip gloss. So the instructions are to give it a good shake, and a really good shake, because you will notice that if these have been stored vertically, there will be a little bit of separation between the pigment and whatever fluid it's suspended in. So you have to give them a really good shake, and you can hear it's like a little bit of ASMR. You can hear the metal ball that's in here kind of going back and forth, and that's when you know that you're shaking it well enough. And you'll see everything will be mixed well together. On the bottom, it also says the name, again, that 18-month expiration date indicator. The packaging otherwise is very minimal. It just says Kosas and has a black matte lid to it. Now, when you actually take out the applicator, it is a doe foot. Now, it's a very spongy, soft doe foot. I know I talked a little bit about the doe foot for the Honest Beauty liquid lipsticks. It's completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's very soft, very flexible, and it's really absorbent. I found that if you want a wash of color over your lids, you really only need to take out the doe foot once. You don't need to go back in. Now, if you want to build up the color, then I think you should go back in and grab a little bit more. So I picked out 3 shades to try. I have Nitrogen, Copper Halo, and then Fahrenheit, which is actually what I'm wearing right now, and I'll show you the other 2 as well as when I apply this one. I tried to pick colors that were very unique to this launch, so colors that you can't necessarily find in other brands for clean beauty, and I felt like especially the kind of like lavenders, blues, the red, that was really statement shadow colors that you can't really find anywhere else right now. And then I felt like Copper Halo was a good color that I would feel comfortable wearing on an everyday basis. I will say I was sort of surprised when I first got these how liquidy the actual formula is. For whatever reason, I imagined that it would be kind of like a creamy formula, and that's not the case. Since then, I have seen marketing that has explained them as watercolor, and I think that's a very accurate representation of what the formula feels like. It's quite watery. It's not watery to the point where it's going to drip all over yourself. They did a good job of finding that like happy balance, but it's watery in the sense that the color is diluted once you apply it to your lid. So I don't know if swatches are the most accurate of these shadows because you are tapping and blending them in, so they're not going to be as pigmented as when you first swatch them on your hand. However, I have found that you can build them up. So why don't I start showing you guys the shadows, and then we can talk a little bit more about the formula and how they apply. So starting off with Nitrogen, which is this kind of electric blue color, this is the most watery formula out of the 3 that I have. When you first apply it to your lid, you'll see it's quite pigmented, and then as you start to blend it out, it becomes more of a wash of blue. I found when applying these that you don't have to work quickly, but as soon as you start to feel them set, they are stuck there. So I would highly recommend doing one eye at a time and not applying too much at once. That way you can kind of build up the color slowly. And because you're using a doe foot and your fingers, it can take a little bit of work to sort of finesse it into the shape that you want. So like I said, I would start slowly. I'd start with a little bit and continually build it up to get the pigmentation that you want. And then once it does set, it stays in place, which is really great. These don't crease on me, which is wonderful. Overall with nitrogen, I felt like because it is such an electric blue color, for me, I felt like it needed kind of like a transition color in my crease. So you can wear this by itself, but I found that adding a little bit of blue eyeshadow just to sort of blend out the edges made it appear softer and more of a wash of color. And instead of like a pop of color just on my lids, I felt like it blended a little bit better and the look just felt more put together. So moving on to the next shade, this is Copper Halo, and this ended up being one of my favorites. It's a beautiful rusty orange copper color, but it has shimmer to it, so your eyelids almost appear wet. You get that beautiful shine to your eyelids, which I am totally obsessed with. I found that this formula was a little bit thicker than the other two colors that I tried. It also, for whatever reason, felt more pigmented, and I think that is because of the thickness, and I think that is because of the glitter. I really loved how this one applied. Another thing that's great about it is because it does have that shimmer to it, you're not getting it all over your face as you would with a powder, so you're getting all of that gloss, all of that shimmer, but none of the mess, which is really wonderful. And although these are long wearing shadows, these come off very easily with water at night. So when I've actually removed them, it's been super, super simple to get them off, even though they've lasted all day. And this one I felt like just looked beautiful on its own. I didn't feel like I needed to do any finishing touches on it. I just had mascara on and I felt very glamorous and ready to go, but it also was a neutral enough color where I felt like I could wear it every day and it wouldn't be super shocking to people. Now the last color that I got is Fahrenheit, and it is a burgundy red color. It's actually the one that I'm wearing right now, and this is a much more similar formula to nitrogen. It's that watery watercolor-like formula. And when you actually apply it again, it seems super pigmented, but as you blend it out, it becomes a lot sheerer. However, I do find it more pigmented than nitrogen. I absolutely love this color. I think it's so fun. I think red eyeshadows look great on a lot of different types of people with different eye colors, and certainly they look great with brown eyes, so I was really happy that I ended up choosing this one to try out. For whatever reason, always one eye was a little bit easier to blend out than the other, so I'm curious to see how these would work with brushes. I do think because they have setting time, you'd need to be careful with how fast you're kind of applying them and all of that, but I think I'm going to give them a try with brushes just because when I was doing my left eye, it was a little bit tricky to get the shape that I wanted, whereas for my right eye, it was extremely easy to sort of blend it out. Now it's also skill, user error, all of that. I don't think the point of these is to be super precise. It's just to have fun with color and kind of have that like messy, effortless, but very chic, beautiful look going on. And like I said, I did find that Fahrenheit was more pigmented than nitrogen. So when everything was kind of dried down, I felt like I could see this on my eyes a lot more than I could see nitrogen. So as I mentioned, these don't crease on me, which is a major win. A lot of stuff does crease on me because I have slightly oilier eyelids, which I don't particularly mind because especially if they're cream, all you have to do is kind of like push them back into place. But it is nice not to have to worry about that, and especially when you're dealing with maybe more high maintenance looks that have a little bit more color into it, it's good to know that you have a base that's just going to stay. I'd be curious to know how layering over powders work with these. I tried a little bit like you guys saw with that nitrogen, and that blended really well, but it did pick up a little bit of the pigment. So I'd worry that if you put powder eyeshadow on top of this and you're sort of blending with a brush, it would kind of take away 10-second eyeshadow that you'd already laid down. So I still have a little bit more playing to do with them, but overall, I think if you're just using them by themselves, they are great products. I think they're really innovative and something that I haven't seen before in the clean beauty world, which is really cool. Definitely remember to give them a shake before you use them, or else you won't get the right payoff. And my only other tip, like I said at the beginning, is just to apply in small thin layers and kind of build up the color to how you want, because they do set, so you need to work with them while they're wet, or else you'll end up with like a very pigmented one blotch, and you won't be able to blend it all out. So work in small areas, start with one eye, then do the other eye. Other than that, I really don't have anything bad to say about these. I think they're really fun. I'm super happy with my color choice. If I could just pick two out of this, I think I would pick Fahrenheit and Copper Halo. Nitrogen is really pretty, it's just not quite as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. And if I could just pick one, I think I would pick Copper Halo, because it's such a gorgeous color and I really like the thickness of this formula over the wateriness of these two formulas, although Fahrenheit is a gorgeous color. So really I'd go with two and I'd pick these two. As always, I will link everything down below. If I didn't cover something that you are curious about, just let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you with an answer. Also, let me know what color you guys are most interested in. I know there are a lot of good ones out there, and there's a few that I was like very tempted to try, but ended up going with these three, so I'd be curious to know what you guys thought looked great. And other than that, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for videos always featuring clean green beauty. And if you're not new, then just a massive thank you for coming back and watching another video. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!